The Iowa Hawkeye women are 2-0 in the Big Ten Conference. We'll talk about their win over Minnesota. Hawkeyes blowing Big Ten teams out so far, just 2 games into conference play. But first, before we get to my reaction, I want to tell you about Ascent Nutrition. If you enjoy a good cup of coffee in the morning, certainly check out Ascent Nutrition. Their mold and mycotoxin-free coffee. Many of you are probably naive to the fact that most of your name brand coffees are treated with pesticides. They contain harmful molds and mycotoxins, not this stuff. This stuff is great, premium, mold and mycotoxin-free organic coffee. Visit goascentnutrition.com and use this code Hawkeyes at checkout to receive 15% off your order. You can find a direct link to the coffee by means of the description below. There's a link in our description. Again, goascentnutrition.com, 15% off with the code Hawkeyes. So, the Iowa Hawkeye women getting it done this evening, 87-64. Haven't done a reaction for the women in a while. Just been busy. It's been a wild few weeks with the transfer portal and, of course, the men's post-game shows that we do with Coach Gary Close. But Caitlin Clark had a huge game, no question about it. 32 points for Caitlin, 10 boards, 9 assists, 1 assist shy of a triple-double. More on that in a moment. But the big storyline coming out of this game, first of all, Iowa really good defensively. This is a young Minnesota team that flashed at times. It was kind of a game of runs. It looked like in that third quarter that Iowa was going to pull away for good, and then Minnesota crept back into it. I think had a shot to get them back within 8 or 9 at some point, either late in the third, early in the fourth. And they just could never sustain anything. Too much offense from Iowa. Minnesota is shooting just 30% from the field. No question about it. Iowa has been much better defensively over these last 3 games. We're talking about Wisconsin, Iowa State, and Minnesota. So 3 Power 5 teams. Certainly Wisconsin, Minnesota, not the cream of the crop in the conference. That win against Iowa State was really good, although Iowa still needs to prove that they can consistently defend that well, especially on the road. So overall, just solid. This is all you can expect this Iowa team to do. Right now, they're winning Big Ten games. They've only played 2 Big Ten games, but their margin of victory in those 2 games, I think they've averaged like 27 somewhere, right? Because I think they beat Wisconsin by 31. They win today by 23. So dominating performances, one of which was on the road. Things will get tougher. I'm stating the obvious there. By the way, Monica Sonato, a nice game. She was going up against her sibling, Maggie Sonato, who's a reserve for the Gophers. But Monica with 22 points on 11 of 17 shooting to go along with 5 rebounds and just 1 turnover. The big story coming out of this game, unfortunately, besides the fact that Lisa Bluder has now won more conference games than anyone, is the fact that Kate Martin is down with an injury. She went down awkwardly in that second half. And it was hard to tell at first what Kate did. Was it a bad sprain of the ankle? Was it I was hoping it wasn't some sort of a fracture. She went down, it looked like on a Golden Gopher shoe, and kind of turned things. But at the same time, she also made actual contact. Looked like maybe some just that blunt force of leg-to-leg contact between the defender and Kate Martin. So it was hard to tell at first. I showed it on replay a couple times. It looked like that ankle turned. She was in a lot of pain. I guess the good news is Lisa Bluder did say after the game that she's hoping it's just a bad bone bruise. And the good news is, too, Kate Martin was out on the bench coaching her teammates, helping Lisa Bluder with those responsibilities late in the game. She had ice over that shin. So that's better than a high ankle sprain in my book. It's certainly better than any type of a fracture. So you hope that it's just a bone bruise. But those can be nagging. I think it's probably better that it's a shin bone bruise than perhaps a thigh would probably be or a hip. I would guess. Again, I'm no physician, but that would be my guess. They need Kate Martin. She's been playing really well lately. Tonight, just 7 points, but 3 of 5 shooting. She's just an efficient basketball player, really basketball savvy. They were talking about that during the broadcast. Both of her parents are teachers. Her dad's a coach, and certainly she's a floor general. Even though she doesn't have the ball in her hands most of the time, she really is the glue for this team. So they're going to need Kate Martin back. I will say this, Iowa still not shooting the 3 great, right? They shot for the day. They shot 23% from 3. Gabby Marshall just can't make a 3 right now. I mean, she's 0 for 6. She's 0 for 6 tonight. Interestingly enough, Kate Martin, who had been shooting really well from behind the arc, 0 of 2. McKenna Warnock, 1 of 3. Caitlin Clark did make 4 of her 9 attempts. We did get to see some good extended run, or at least I should say some run for Sydney Falter, along with Shatea Wettering. And we even saw Taylor McCabe late, AJ Edgar, and then Sharon Goodman a bit, which is good to see. And look, I'm just going to say it. This is probably going to get under the skin, ruffle some feathers of some people. But I have built this platform based on me speaking my mind. And again, I know people are going to be quick to come to the defense of Lisa Bluder. I thought it was a really, really bad decision by Lisa Bluder putting Clark back in the game with under 5 minutes to go and her team is up 20. I understand Caitlin Clark was 1 assist away from a triple-double, but she put her back in later in the same game in which Kate Martin went down with what looked like to be a severe injury at the time. Now, hopefully, again, she avoided this injury being severe. But to put Caitlin Clark, the most important player in the country, back in a game where you're up 20 with under 5 to go just to get another assist, which, by the way, she didn't get. And yes, I know Lisa Bluder took her out with 2 to 3 minutes to go, but to even put her in during that small stretch made zero sense to me. All right, this is not baseball. I don't understand that at all. She actually got blocked. Late in the game, Caitlin Clark got stuffed on a fast break, hit the ground hard, and was slow to get up. Actually seemed to get upset with the block. It was a clean block. Honestly, they called a foul, and they actually looked at it on review, which really irritated me. Why are we looking at these plays? If you saw the play live, you could tell the defender was going for the ball. In fact, it was a clean block. Now, maybe she fouled her lower body, right? I mean, they called the foul on the floor. Just stick with the foul, shoot the free throws. Clark gets upset, kind of gets up, and one of her teammates holds her back, which I understand. You know, he got fouled hard, or you perceived to be fouled hard. Again, I don't even know if it was a foul because it was a lot of ball on the block. But my point is, that's that type of play that can easily happen. And all of a sudden, Clark blows out her knee, blows out her ankle, gets, slams her head against the ground and gets a concussion. And yeah, I know we can't play under the what if game, but I just don't understand. If you're Lisa Bluder, why are we putting Caitlin Clark back in the game with under 5 minutes to play, up 20? I don't care how many assists. I don't care if she's near a quadruple double. I don't get the individual stat chasing. Makes zero sense to me. So look, again, I speak my mind on this show. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. But I hate to see Caitlin Clark put in a position where she could become injured. And sure, I'm sure she wanted to be in the game. But as the head coach, you got to make the decision what's best for the team. I just don't know how that possibly is what's best for the team, putting her potentially in harm's way, especially later in the same game in which one of your star players, one of your starters, went down with an injury herself. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But the bottom line is, I do have a lot of respect for Lisa Bluder, and congratulations for her becoming the all-time conference win leader for the Big Ten. And again, solid win for the Hawkeyes, 87-64 against the Minnesota team that had won their only Big Ten game to date. And so the Hawkeyes are now 2-0. They'll have over a week off, right? So they'll get Sunday to Saturday off. So I guess about a week. I shouldn't say over a week. They'll get Sunday to Saturday off. They'll be back in action next Sunday against the UNI Panthers. So much needed break during finals. Of course, the men will have a break as well, but they've got a game tomorrow against Wisconsin. And I, of course, will have live post-game coverage with you, myself and Coach Gary Close. We'll have a bit of a delay because we'll both be at the game. Iowa, Wisconsin, Sunday afternoon, 5:30 p.m. I guess Sunday evening, really, 5:30 p.m. Central Time, post-game delayed, right? So we'll have maybe a half hour to an hour, probably closer to an hour before post-game coverage. But the game, of course, will be on BTN post-game coverage right here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Stay tuned.